On the cold winter night of February the 5th, 2025, 31-year-old seasonal chef Thomas Riotte was laughing with friends in bar in Nendaz, Switzerland. Minutes later, after exiting the resort, he stepped into the dark and disappeared completely. 2 days later, his cell phone was found near a forest swimming pool, and then total silence. In this episode of Coffee Crime with Doncha, we explore the official files, the massive search in the mountains, troubling reports of suspicious activity in the resort, and why his family believes he met with a foul play. Hello everyone and welcome back to Coffee Crime with Doncha. Grab your favorite warm cup of coffee, get comfortable, and let's get over another compelling case together. All information in the podcast come exclusively from official sources and investigative files or news reports. However, all other opinions expressed are my own, so please make your own research. Also, if you enjoy my podcast, if you like me, please subscribe to the channel, activate notifications buttons, and leave a like, leave a review, leave a comment. Your support means the world to me, plus it's for free. So as you heard at the beginning, today we are traveling to the heart of the Swiss Alps, to the famous ski resort of Nendaz in the canton Valais. So since this case takes place in Switzerland, I will be using German names. Guys, this case is really, well, when I was researching information for this case, I had more questions than answers, but you will see at the end of this episode. Also, I would like to know, what do you guys think, what could have happened? So, with that being said, let's dive into it. Nendaz is perched on a sunny plateau overlooking the Rhone Valley, part of the world-famous ski domain. During the winter season, the village is buzzing with tourists, skiers, and seasonal workers from all over Europe, but also from all over the world, who give this resort its lovely and welcoming energy. Now picture Wednesday evening, February 5th, 2025. It's a typical bustling winter night in the resort, inside the popular local spot called Cheers Bar, located right at the foot of the cable car station. A group of people are enjoying their drinks together and having fun. Among them is also 31-year-old Thomas Riotte, a French seasonal worker who has lived and worked in Nendaz every winter for nearly a decade. Surveillance video from inside the bar captures the last known images of Thomas. In the video, he is smiling, he's laughing, he's basically having fun and doing a few playful dance steps with his friends. Next to him, his girlfriend bursts out laughing and accidentally spills a little bit of her beer. But it's nothing special, it's just a happy, warm moment surrounded by people who care about each other. Around 9 to 9:30 p.m., the group decided to leave the bar and walk to a friend's apartment nearby to have a dinner together. It's dark and cold outside. Well, it's February, right? It's winter, it's Swiss Alps. Hello. The friends have had a few drinks, so they walk together toward the resort funicular. They board the funicular, ride it up, and exit together. As they continue walking through the village toward the apartment, Thomas lags behind slightly and steps away from the group. His friends assume he'll catch up in a minute or two. but he never arrives at the apartment. Well, guys, this seems a little bit strange to me. Like, how can you lose someone when you are walking as a group? Like, didn't they notice that he was missing? I don't know. It's just a little bit odd. Well, in a matter of minutes, on a short familiar walk through a lit resort town surrounded by friends, 31-year-old Thomas Riotte vanished without a trace. When he fails to answer calls or show up the next morning, his girlfriend, friends, and family immediately panic, as they should. They know this is completely out of the character. But before we continue, let's look at who Thomas Riotte actually was. And how could a healthy, athletic man disappear in a matter of moments in the middle of the busy ski resort? Let's take a closer look. To understand why Thomas's disappearance sent shockwaves through the region, we have to look at who he was as a person. Thomas Riotte was born in 1993, originally hailing from Chamonix, France, a famous mountain town right at the base of the Mont Blanc. Growing up in the French Alps, Thomas was naturally comfortable in mountains environments, athletic, and loved the outdoors. By profession, Thomas was a talented chef, but unlikely seasonal workers who came to a resort for just one winter and move on, Thomas was a pillar of the Haute-Nendaz community, so he was basically working there for ages. By 2025, he had been coming back to work in Nendaz every single winter season for over 10 years. Locals, restaurant owners, and fellow seasonal staff described him as reliable, helpful, serious about his work, and deeply integrated into the village life. He had built strong friendships and had a loving, committed relationship with his girlfriend. He was also deeply attached to his parents back in France. And physically, Thomas is about 180 centimeters tall. This means about 5 feet 11 inches, with an athletic build, short brown hair, brown eyes, and a neat beard. He has a distinct tattoo of a lion on the back of his left calf. On the night he vanished, he was wearing a black down jacket, a blue beanie, black pants, green and yellow Nike sneakers, and carrying a green backpack. When Thomas failed to return home or contact everyone, his friends didn't wait around. They immediately alerted the police. Unusually for an adult missing person, the police issued an official missing person notice on February the 8th, just 3 days after he vanished. So normally authorities wait longer when an adult goes missing, but the police recognized immediately that Thomas was well-adjusted, reliable man with zero reason to disappear voluntarily. At this point, a massive search operation was launched right away, but as days turned into weeks, the mystery only deepened, and guys, it's only getting much more bizarre. The response of Thomas's disappearance in Nendaz was immediate, and within days, hundreds of missing person posters featuring Thomas's face were plastered on every shop window, hotel lobby, doors, and restaurants entrances in all of the resort. The police deployed 25 officers, specialized sniffer dogs, teams, and helicopters using thermal cameras to search the slopes, trails, and surrounding wood and forest. And 2 days after he vanished, searchers found the very first and so far the only physical clue in the case, Thomas's mobile phone. The phone was located at the edge of the forest near the swimming pool. This discovery raised intense questions. Was the phone dropped by accident during a fall? Was it thrown away by someone else? Or did Thomas walk toward the forest near the pool after separating from his friends? Despite all the searches by police, sniffer dogs, and officers around the pool and the forest area, no other items were found. His green backpack, his clothes, his shoes, and his identity documents, these were all missing. As official ground searches paused, a community stepped in. A Facebook group was launched by his girlfriend and close friends, quickly attracting over 5,000 members. Volunteers wanted to organize large search parties. However, in April 2025, authorities and police had put a veto on civilian searches. Spring weather, heavy rainfall, snowmelt had made the steep mountain trails around Nendaz extremely dangerous. But despite of all these facts, the civilian search effort professionalized. Professional climber Vanessa Horisberg was working closely with Thomas' family. They raised funds through a crowdfunding campaign to hire professional mountain guides, specialists and climbers who rappelled down dangerous areas near where his phone was found. They also funded private helicopters flyovers to examine areas that couldn't be reached on foot. Yet, despite professional guides and police dog handlers conducting repeated training exercises in the area, not a single trace of Thomas was ever recovered. As months went by without any answers, investigative journalists at Radio Rhone FM uncovered several disturbing details that pointed away from a simple accident and toward a potential crime. First, there was the behavior of the police tracking dog. According to reports aired on Rhone FM, when police sniffer dogs picked up Thomas' scent, the lead dog reportedly stopped dead in its tracks at a specific point along the road. So this means when a tracking dog's trail stops in the middle of a road, it strongly suggests that the missing person got into the vehicle at the exact spot, either voluntarily or by force. Second, a local journalist revealed troubling incidents that took place in Nendaz in the days leading up to Thomas's disappearance. Specifically, in early February 2025, a couple in Nendaz nightclub reportedly had their drinks spiked with drugs. They were allegedly forced into a car by a stranger, though managed to escape with only a scare. Locals in the resort also pointed out a suspicious group of young men residing nearby at the time, as well as vehicle with foreign license plates seen around Nendaz on the exact night Thomas vanished. So, could Thomas have crossed paths with dangerous individuals after leaving the club? Thomas's mother also spoke openly on Rhone FM, expressing her conviction that her son met with foul play. Quote, "I think he made a bad encounter. What hurts us is this misery. We want to understand. We want to know." End quote. When contacted by journalists regarding these criminal leads, the police declined to comment on these specific investigative details. However, the police spokesperson reassured the public that the case remains open. Quote, "Police never close a case until the person is found. We owe it to the families. At any moment, active searches can resume." End quote. Fast forward to February 2026, exactly 1 year after Thomas Riotte vanished. In Nendaz, the hundreds of bright yellow missing posters that once covered every storefront had gradually been taken down. New seasonal workers and tourists have arrived, many unaware of the tragedy that occurred 12 months prior. Yet the pain for those who loved Thomas remains as sharp as ever. Commune president emphasized that removing the poster does not mean the community has forgotten Thomas. He noted that Thomas was a deeply rooted resident who contributed to the resort for 8 years, and his disappearance continues to haunt the village. His parents, along with his girlfriend, continue to fight to keep his image alive on social media and through French national television appearances. And his father said, quote, "Wherever he is, we want to tell him we love him deeply. We would move mountains for him." End quote. Oh my God, this is so tough. I cannot fathom, I cannot only imagine what the family must go through. I mean, where is he? Where is his son? So, in any case, there are a lot of suspicions, a lot of speculations, a lot of theories. So now let's examine the main theories in this baffling case. Theory number 1, foul play. So this theory, held strongly by his family, suggests that Thomas met with the foul play. The sniffer dog stopping on the road, the discovery of his phone near the forest pool, and reported the drug spiking incidents in the resort raised the possibility that Thomas was targeted, forced into a vehicle, or involved in an altercation with dangerous people who disposed of evidence elsewhere. Could be. Theory number 2, a fatal fall. The second theory is an accidental fall into inaccessible mountain terrain. On a dark, cold winter night after a few drinks, Thomas might have taken a shortcut near the pool, slipped, and fallen into one of the steep, forested ravines surrounding Nendaz. In a deep winter snow, a body can easily be buried and remain undiscovered even during flyovers. Yes, okay, it could be, but I mean, like, it's been a year. I mean, it's not impossible to find a body. Or am I wrong? I don't know. What you guys think? And finally, theory number 3, which to me seems a bit impossible, but anyway, let's look at it. Voluntary disappearance. So this theory suggests that Thomas chose to walk away from his life. However, investigators, family, and friends overwhelmingly dismiss this. Thomas had a stable job, strong relationships, no financial or any psychological distress, and was deeply loved. Walking away without taking any belongings or contacting his family seems a little bit odd and not his character. So looking at this case, what touches me the most is the incredible solidarity shown by the people of Valais and Thomas's friends, paired with the heartbreaking anguish of his parents. To lose someone so suddenly on an ordinary night out with only a phone left behind near a quiet forest is unimaginable nightmare. Thomas Riotte was a hardworking, cheerful, and beloved young man whose family deserves answers after a year of agonizing uncertainty. And this brings us to the end of today's episode of Coffee Crime with Doncha. Guys, let me know what you think. What you think could have happened. I personally think that I don't know, it's really hard to say, because if they were walking out of the club at that night as a group, maybe he was a little bit drunk, maybe he was feet away, and then suddenly something happened, or maybe he was really spiked with some drugs and stopped for a second, and then suddenly somebody came and took him. I don't know. Let me guys know what you think about this case. Also, if you have ideas for other cases, whether missing person, suspicious deaths, suspicious disappearances, or if you simply want to leave me a feedback, do it please in the info box under the podcast. You will find a link to a form that you can fill anytime you want. Thank you guys so much for joining me today, and take care, stay safe, and I will see you and hear you next time. Bye.